Alright, so this is how the Grand Dam sits right now. Everything's going back together. So right now I've got to run my battery cables. I've got to finish hooking up the steering linkage. And then tighten up these rear subframe bolts. And then that's all the subframe. Everything will be back in. And then once I get all my wiring finished and getting everything up here all tidied up and bolted down, I gotta rehook up the starter with the battery cable wires and go to the ground on that ground pack over there. That goes to the bell housing bolt. And then after I get everything done on this, I still got to do the shifter cables. I have to rebuild the shifter. I still need to hook up the exhaust and replug in the fuel lines. I've got to put in the new clutch master with the lines that goes over here to the slave. I've got to bleed the clutch. And then after all that stuff is done, then I got this brand new full aluminum radiator. And it's actually really nice. The fans fit on there with no trimming. But I went ahead and I ordered a brand spanking new AC condenser, so I don't have to reuse this old one. So I'm waiting for that to come in so I can swap that out. And then once I have the new AC condenser, then all of that can go back into the car. And then it's just plumbing everything, hooking up heater hoses. I have to get a shorter supercharger belt because I removed the intercooler. So now the belt's too long. So I've got to get a little bit shorter belt. But I mean, other than that, I made a lot of progress in a couple of days, 2 or 3 days on this thing. So it's Sunday. And yeah, it's been a busy week. Guys, the guys are here. We went in for a test drive. He drove it. And I drove it to show him how I drive it. And show him what it can do. So we're going over to meet with my notary, Joanne, and we're gonna get the title notarized and get this a done deal. And the 07 is leaving my fleet today, so y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update. Man, look at I wish I could get some rolling shots. I try to get some. Oh, that sounds so good. I'm waiting for him to go. Ah! It sounds so good. Y'all, car is sold. Oh, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. Enjoy it, y'all.
I'll take good care of it, I swear to God. Again, please, send him a list of all the things that I will get it done. Actually, if you want to have me on Facebook, dude, I'll just keep me up.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's all on YouTube, so I mean, you'll see it all.
And when I get that all like west sanded down, I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna keep it like how you're gonna do it.
I'll send you the screenshot of.
I'm gonna keep your dream alive, dude.
Oh yeah. Well, shit, it's good meeting y'all. Y'all have fun. Oh, man. Alright, you guys. Well, I just made it back home. Over here with the Grand Dam. So, I was out here working on the Grand Dam this morning. I come out here around noon or so. And I had a guy message me and he bought my big rolly toolbox. I went and met him at the storage. Sold the big rolly toolbox for 80 bucks. Made it back home. And this guy from Bartlesville, he's about an hour away, messaged me. He's like, hey, I want to come look at the 07 Prix. So him and a couple buddies come down and they looked at it. We went and test drove it. I let him drive it. Then I drove it. Just show him how I drive it and what it can do. He was like driving it normal. And so I was like, well, here, put your foot in it. And he was like kind of scared. So I showed him what it could do. He was happy with the car. So he offered me $4,000 and I sold it to him. So we went and got the title notarized and he paid me and he has the car. So the 07 Prix is gone. but it's okay. That gives me money to pay my credit cards off so I don't fuck up my credit score. You know, not having a job, I still got to pay bills, so I'll be able to pay off both my credit cards, keep my bills paid, keep gas in the truck and in the Grand Am, keep insurance, all that, so I can stay legal, and it'll give me some extra money if I run into something else I need to buy for this thing, getting it back together, if I need to buy more fluids or, you know, whatever it is, or exhaust clamp, like anything, then at least I have some money to do it. So I know it sucks, like I'm gonna miss the 07, but he was a subscriber to the YouTube channel. He fell in love with the car, so it's alright. I let it go, it's gone, and yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update. So now I'm back over here at the house, and now I'm gonna start working on the Grand Am some more. Haven't really got to do anything to it today, but yeah, I still need to get the steering linkage installed and then tighten up the rear bolts on the subframe and get it all the way back up in place. And then after that, it's just, I got heater hoses, the exhaust, I've got to run this wiring back through the firewall, I've got to hook up the fuel lines, I've got to hook the throttle cables back up. Then I'm not going to reinstall the radiator just yet because I ordered the brand new AC condenser last night. So it'll be here in, I think it said like 2 to 3 day shipping. So it'll be here in a few days and I can swap that out and then get it put back in here. This thing will really be looking like a car again. And I can't wait to get this, the clutch master installed with the lines and actually start trying to bleed the clutch. I'm gonna wait for David to come over here after a while. He said he's mowing some yards right now, so whenever David comes over, then yeah, we'll bleed the clutch, and hopefully that slave is working now, this new one, and hopefully we don't have any issues with that. And then yeah, so I went by the storage. So this is the slave that was just in here that I removed. As you can see, it's like seized up. It doesn't want to do anything. It's as far as it goes. But this is the original one that came in this transmission when I bought it. And as you can see, this one, it goes all the way down. And this is an actual GM slave. Compared to this one's got like some weird seals and stuff, and this one's just flat. So I don't know what the deal is with that. The brand new one looks identical to this, the one that I just put in there, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah, that thing is no bueno. That is no good. So yeah, this one, that's how it's supposed to work. So hopefully we don't have any issues with this one, because this was a lot of work to change that out. So, and even if I had to change that out again, I'd still have to do the same thing. Drop the whole subframe, separate everything. I just wouldn't have to remove the clutch. But I would still have to pull the whole engine and transmission apart to get to that slave cylinder. So, hopefully this one holds up for a while. And also, yeah, so Gage messaged me, and he said he got the mount today from his fabricator guy. He said he literally finished welding it up today, this morning. So he has it. He's going to ship it out to me tomorrow. So that's really awesome news. So here soon, sometime within this week, I should have the engine mount for over here. And then I can go ahead and get that welded in. And then this thing should pretty much be damn near ready to go. And then once the computer gets back from Daniel Smuts, I'll just be able to plug it in, hook it up, and everything else should be done by then and back together. So yeah, by the time that comes in, this thing will be ready to just start up. And hopefully, before all that happens, before I even get that back, I hope I get this clutch system all hooked up and it bleeds and works. And hopefully. So I'm going to get to work on this thing, get some tools out of the Trailblazer, and I'll give you guys another update. Hey YouTube, it is Monday morning, and so I'm headed over to UPS to go drop off the intercooler and heat exchanger And so yeah, I'm headed over to UPS right now to go get that dropped off and get it in the mail. It's already paid for. The shipping label and everything's paid for. So I just got to go drop this thing off. And then I'll head back over to the house and continue working on the Grand Dam. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update whenever I make it back to the house. Alright y'all, so I made it back over here to the house, to the Grand Dam. So I went up to UPS and I dropped off the intercooler and heat exchanger and all that. So that is now on the way to, I think his name is Connor, or maybe his last name is Connors. But yeah, that's on the way to him, so he should have all that in like 3 or 4 days. And yeah, so right now David's on his way over. I went this morning and I filled up this gas can and both of those gas cans with 91. It was like 40 something dollars. So I could fill up the Grand Dam because I thought it was empty. It was only like 10 gallons. And I still got like 4 gallons left and it's full, overflowing. So let's see, is it still all the way? Oh yeah, it's still all the way up there. So yeah, she's still full. So I told David to come by. He's gonna get the rest of that 4 gallons because I'm sure you're probably on the empty.
I'm surprised I made it over here.
Yeah, so yeah, we got 4 gallons of gas, the 91 for the 97, and then the title is actually still in my name, so I have that inside. I signed it, so that's going to David, so he can either get it put in his name or sell it, whatever he wants to do. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably go ahead. We're gonna fill up the 97, and then I'm gonna get some tools out, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this steering linkage done. I didn't really work on it at all yesterday because I was busy just selling stuff and test driving the car and following him around, getting the title notarized, all that stuff. And then it rained and rained and rained last night, so didn't really get to do anything on the Grand Dam yesterday. So I'm going to get some tools out and get the steering linkage done, get the subframe bolted in, and start getting some stuff connected and hooked up, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright guys, well finally after 2 days of saying I was going to get this linkage connected, it is now connected. And if you look, I can turn the steering wheel, turn the wheels, so I'm happy. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm happy everything's works. I'm really happy with that. So now it's just getting everything else finished up. I've got to zip tie up some more wires and stuff right in here so that these wires don't rub on the axle. And yeah, now I can go ahead and bolt up the subframe, get it all the way up into place, and yeah, we should be good to go. Then I can start getting the exhaust hooked up and hooking up heater hoses and fuel lines and getting everything else all hooked back up. Run the shifter cables, get those back in their bracket and hook back up. Then I can install the clutch master and go over here to the slave with all the lines. And just start getting all this stuff back together. So y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright y'all, so I've got all the subframe bolts are all tightened up now. Everything's looking good. Steering linkage is connected. So I grabbed the zip ties. They're right here. Got these at Walmart for like $2 or $3. And so I need to zip tie this up a little bit more so we don't have any rubbing on the axle. So I'm going to do that real quick. And then I need to zip tie this speed sensor plug that I wired on that goes under the rack over to the passenger side. I'm going to zip tie that over to this red strand so it'll kind of keep it tight, because whenever I was turning the wheel, David said it was sticking up like this and the inner tie rod boot was rubbing on it. So I'm going to zip tie it over like this so it keeps it down. and out of the way of the rack and pinion. But yeah, I am super happy with the progress. Very, very happy. I've made a lot of progress. And then I've got to get the 13 with the extension. I've got to tighten this bracket down all the way. Woo! Dropping the phone. Yeah, I got to tighten this ABS pump bracket down all the way. And yeah, then I think I'm about done over on this side. Oh, I still need to tighten up the strut bolts and my brake line bolts. And then the car still needs an alignment, so it's not perfectly straight, but man, this thing's gonna be back together in no time. So I'm gonna keep working on this. I still got quite a bit of stuff left to do, so I'll keep you guys updated as I make some more progress. Alright y'all, so I've got both of the brake calipers are now tightened down, both of the struts are now tightened down, all the brake lines are tightened down. I made sure that the transmission mount, the rear mount, and the front mount, they're all tight and tightened down. So I guess I could go ahead and put the dog bone back on if I wanted to and get that on there. And then yeah, I still need to go get a smaller belt. And then over here on this side, so I've still got to run these shifter cables back down, and I've got to hook up the exhaust. I need to get a gasket for the rear power log to the custom downpipe. Then after that, I mean, from here on out, everything should go pretty quickly, and everything should be pretty easy. I say that now, but shit always changes. But I guess we'll see. And then, so Gage messaged me yesterday, and he said he had the mount in his hands, this lower engine mount that's going to be replacing that hockey puck. And so he said he was going to mail it out to me today. So I should have it in like 4 or 5 days, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, shit, everything is coming together really quickly. And then I ordered a red shark fin cover for this because it's broke, and so that will leak. And so I got a little cover for like $8. I've got the brand new AC condenser is coming in, so it should be here in the next 4 or 5 days, and then I'll be able to put the brand new condenser with the radiator, and then all that can go back in. But yeah, so pretty much how I want to do the rest of this is I want to get the shifter cables on and get those over here, get my fuel lines connected, pretty much get everything else done that needs to be done in here before I put the clutch master with the lines on going over here to the slave, because before the fuse box and, you know, the tray, and I start getting a bunch of stuff in here blocking me, I want to get that in here and try to bleed the clutch. And before I get everything else all put back together, I want to try to make sure that it's going to work, that the clutch is going to bleed. So that's what the goal is and the plan is. So I guess we'll see how it plays out. And but yeah, that's kind of the plan. So I'm going to keep working on this. I guess I'm about to start doing these shifter cables, trying to get those ran and get those back reinstalled. And then fuel lines, they just clip right into place. I've got the harness and everything all zip tied, so shouldn't have to worry about anything rubbing on the axle, so, or on the rack and pinion. That's all zip tied. So it's really coming together. But yeah, I'm gonna keep working on this, trying to get everything put on here that I can and get put back together, and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright y'all, so I've got a little bit more done. I got my battery cables are hooked up, all the starter wiring is, everything is tight, everything is routed how it needs to go. This is just my wires to the radiator fans, and over to that's for the AC line. But I mean, everything else up here looks great. Like, could not be happier. So then, I had the harness running right here, and whenever I was shifting it, the bottom paddle down there, this section of it down here, was hitting the harness whenever I was shifting it. So I've got it all zip tied up out of the way, and so I've got the harness zip tied to the brake lines right there to kind of hold it over. And then if I come down here, I had to zip tie it this way to the brake line here. And then I also had to zip tie it in 2 or 3 different spots right there to keep it off of the axle, because it kept wanting to run, like, fall down and touch, like, lay on the top side of the axle. And then got that one zip tied, because as y'all seen, it was rubbing the inner tie rod boot. But man, I mean, it's really coming together really quickly. So I still have to do the shifter cables. I've got to get underneath the car to do that. But I was just trying to get everything else over here situated. I got the fuel lines hooked back up. I got the harness back through the firewall. I was about to bolt in this new master, the clutch master. Just haven't got there yet. And then there's a reservoir. And the holes line up perfectly with the old holes. So that should just go right back on, and then hook up the hose once it's bolted up. And then I'm going to have to do something with this, either bend this line a little bit, because it has to sit underneath this little bracket here, and it's wanting to go on top. And when I push it underneath all the way, it's not wanting to line up all the way back there at the firewall. It's like turned crooked. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of bending on some lines to make everything fit correctly and perfectly. But I'm making a lot of progress on this thing. So I'm going to keep working on this, just trying to get everything hooked up. And I'm going to get the creeper so I can roll under the car and get the shifter cables fed through between the engine or the rear transmission mount back there. I don't know if you guys can, I know you probably went upside down, but yeah, they need to come right through this space here, right there between the block and the exhaust. And then whenever they go into this bracket, it will hold them out of the way, because I've already had it through there and they were fine. So I did see that somebody commented on a post on Facebook. Someone else was doing the same swap, and they said to heat wrap the shifter cables right there. So I might just get some heat wrap and just wrap it. So I've got to get that done. Also, something else I noticed while I was down here, look, these are brand new, and this bushing is already busted. It's already cracked and split, and that's just shit. So whenever I was at AutoZone last week, I seen that they sell just the red polyurethane bushings, like just the bushings and the little metal caps that are, you know, they're kind of like rounded to fit over the bushing instead of just being a flat washer. And it's like 20 bucks. So I'm thinking I'm just going to go buy those, and I'll just reuse this nut and bolt and just put on new bushings with the new washers. And that should be a lot better than these little cheap China eBay ones. Yeah, this side's cracked too. So yeah, definitely gonna go get some new bushings for that. But I mean, other than that, everything is coming along really nice. I still got to get the AC lines back reinstalled and get those all ran back up in there how they need to go. And I still got to get a shorter supercharger belt like I mentioned earlier. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So you guys stay tuned. I'm gonna keep working on this, and I'll give you guys another update once I make some good progress on this thing. Alright y'all, so I've started getting the clutch master and everything in. So I'm working on getting these bolts tightened down for this. So whenever I took the bolts out, I guess whenever I put it together last time, I had this 8mm bolt. I'm pretty sure that's like a throttle body bolt, but I don't know. And then I had, oh, where'd that 10 go? This 10. And I mean, there's quite a length difference there. And so I went through the whole tote, the new box of the nut and bolt bin. And so I had this in there, so I found some washers, so I put a washer on each one. And then these are actually the Series 3 NA upper intake manifold bolts that bolt the upper intake to the lower intake. And these are the same thread pitch and everything as the 10. So these will work perfect. They're nice and clean. So, and they match, they're both 8mm. So now that I've got some nice matching clean bolts with washers, I'm going to go ahead and bolt that down to the firewall. And then I'll have to work on, I'll have to bend this line right here. I need to bend it up a little bit because this has to tuck underneath. And whenever I tuck it underneath, it doesn't want to line up back there. But whenever I put it over, I can maneuver it and get it to line up. So I'm going to have to bolt it on first and then bend the line. And just be careful not to break it. And if I do break it, I still have the other one over there. And I can always still use this clutch master and just pull the clip and the line will come out. And I could just do the same on that and just clip that line in. And then same thing with the bleeder. Just use the brand new bleeder. The brand new one. But yeah, anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get this bolted in now. And then I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I made quite a bit of progress. I've got the clutch master cylinder bolted in. It's nice and tight. Got the reservoir on there with a couple self-tappers. That's what I had in the old one. But yeah, everything's plugged in. Got my line bent. Everything fits real nicely down there. It tucks super nice and neat. Goes right behind. Look at that. Perfect, right up there. So I'm really happy with the new clutch line. I like that stainless look, the chrome. It looks good. But so after I got that in, I went ahead and bolted in the fuse box tray. Just made sure everything was going to fit properly. Everything's in and tight now. So, and then I went ahead and bolted in the battery tray just so I could test out how my battery cables are going to sit. And it's like, that's perfect. It's exactly how it's going to sit. So yeah, everything's coming together. I still have to do the shifter cables and run those, but I will still be able to get to those. It's just right here, so that's not that big of a deal. But man, I'm super happy. Everything is coming together. It's like, this is awesome. I'm stoked. I'm really stoked, really excited. So, but yeah, so still got a little bit of ways to go. Still got to do all the AC lines and all that, but major progress today, major progress. And then yeah, so I was looking through the trunk, and so originally I had the 680 belt on here with the intercooler, and then I took the intercooler off and sold it. Well, this was the belt that I was running before, before I put the intercooler on. And that was this belt. And I had another ZZP belt. It was a 650 belt, and this was like the replacement. So I'm pretty sure this is like the extra belt I had. This is one that was a little bit too short to run on the 3/4 pulley on the 07 Prix whenever I was putting the 07 Prix together. And this is the 3/0 pulley, so it needs a little bit shorter belt than that one. So I'm pretty sure this one might work for the belt. And if it does fit, this one's pretty old and rusty, so I'll just take this one up to AutoZone and just get a brand new one the same length. And yeah, see, that one's got a cut in it right there. So yeah, we'll definitely have to go get another one. But if this is the right size, then I'll just go get another one the same length as this one and call it good. We'll be good to go. And then yeah, so I'm going to keep working on this, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright, you guys, so I've been working on this thing, so I had to pull the battery box, or battery tray, whatever, back out. It's right there. Which I was going to have to do that to bleed the clutch. Just because it sticks out so far, it kind of gets in the way. So I hadn't thought of that, so it was just 3 bolts. I unbolted it. But then I got down in here. Well, first I got under the car with the creeper. I pulled the shifter cables all the way down, and then I routed them. And then come to find out that they do actually have some heat wrap on them already. So I've got them all installed. Everything seems nice. And so I got in here, and look at here. So we are in neutral. There's first. There's second. There's third. There's fourth. There's fifth. And that's reverse. So I still need to get a new frame for the shifter boot. But man, everything is working. It shifts. I still need to do the shifter rebuild kit to get rid of a lot of that slop. But everything is working properly. Like, I cannot be happier with everything. I thought that the shifter was just fucked up. Like, I wasn't expecting it to shift through the gears like that. But I just decided to try it, and sure enough, it all works. But so shifter cables are hooked up, all that's working, clutch line, everything's hooked up. I have the throttle cable hooked up, and it actually works. It only opens about that far whenever it's floored in there. So I'll have to figure out what the deal is with that, because that's not even going to give me wide open throttle. It'll be about 50% throttle when I'm at wide open throttle on the pedal. So I might have to have a custom cable made. I'm not even for sure, but I'm going to have to figure out something with that. And then so I got online on eBay, and I was looking around at stuff. So I got a brand new set of LED tail lights on the way. I got a brand new all black carpet for the whole car. So all the interior is going to have to come out. Everything's going to have to get ripped out, cleaned up. I got brand new black carpet coming. It was only $200. And then I got a little red shark fin thing that goes over this. And it's like the same color red as the car. But yeah, this one, it got broke. So if I drive this around and it gets rained on, that's going to leak. That happened over at the first storage. I had stuff sitting on top in the hood, and it got broke. And it's just been in storage ever since, so it hasn't been a problem. But now that it's about to be driving on a road, if I get in rain, I don't want it leaking. So I got a cover for that. That's on the way. I finally paid for that little 6-port vacuum chamber thing. So I'll be able to run my map sensor, the fuel pressure regulator, the lower, like everything will get ran off that. The boost line, everything will get ran to that. And yeah, so that's, I've got that stuff on the way. I've got the new AC condenser on the way. I ordered a new inside and outside door handle for the Trailblazer, because this is the brand new one. And it broke last week, so I was just having to crawl through and use the inside door handle to open the door. And then after 2 or 3 days of doing that, the inside door handle broke. So I'm just like, man, dude, I just can't win. And now the Trailblazer is my only running driving vehicle, so it's getting really old crawling across. And yeah, so I've got brand new door handles coming for the Trailblazer. But man, the Grand Am is really coming together. Like, it's really coming together. Yeah, and then so that other belt, this is it. It's still a little bit too long, so I'm going to need a shorter one than this. And the supercharger is still not even bolted down yet. It's still no supercharger bolts. So yeah, it's still loose on there. I did get the heater hoses just set on there. I've got to tighten down the clamps. And then I've still got to do the AC lines. but making a bunch of progress. Fuel line is on, it's tight. So everything up here is done. I just kind of set this just lightly, put the bolts in just to kind of hold this up here so it's not just laying on the ground out here, and so I don't lose anything. But man, dude, this thing is coming together. So I'm gonna keep working on this. I've still got a few other things I got to do. I still got to hook up the exhaust, and I still got to get the fuse box in and get all this stuff hooked up. Then I can put the battery tray back. Well, I can't put the battery tray back in until we bleed the clutch. I haven't even added any fluid yet. I'm gonna wait for David to get here to do that, because I'm gonna need someone else to help me bleed this clutch. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now, but making a lot of progress. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update once I make some more progress. Alright, y'all, well, my phone's dying, so I'm gonna have to go plug it in. But I got the lights to come on. Oh, well, that one was working, and now it went off again. I don't know what the deal is with that one. But I've made a lot of progress. So right now, I'm over here working on getting the AC lines reinstalled. So I've got this one bolt right up here, and it goes in here and bolts this down. I've already got my lines ran over there that go to the compressor. And then this has to just sit in these two plastic clips right here. And then it goes over to the firewall. And then this kind of sandwiches in with this hose on the firewall. So I'm going to keep working on getting this all put back together, and I'll give you guys another update. Ooh, alright, you guys, so my other phone is inside on the charger, and I've still been working on these AC lines. So as you can see, I've got the big fat main line is on the firewall. It's not all the way tight, so I still got to snake in this other line. But man, this is kind of a pain in the ass. It's really cramped in here. There's not a lot of room, but I'm going to try to show you. So right here I have my return power steering line, and this AC line has to go between the return power steering line, and that's the high pressure power steering line. And then this is also my the plug for the oil pressure sensor that I wired on. And so yeah, it's definitely cram-packed and crowded, but I mean, it does work. So if it's in there, I had it in there before. I don't think I had the AC lines or the power steering line wrapped around the AC lines before, but it happens. But either way, it's going in. As long as it's in and connected and nothing's rubbing each other or anything, or nothing's in the way of each other, then I'll be happy. But yeah, so pretty much I just have to take this end and snake it back up through there the exact same way that this hose here goes. And then it will go into that little channel piece on that firewall where the line connects to the firewall. This will slip in behind there. And then this hose just clips in right here on these two clips. And then these clip in right here on the frame rail to these two holes. And normally they're backwards, and this line sits on the inside, but I'm going to move it to the outside because the crank pulley and everything, there's really not enough room right there. And then right now I have the engine lowered all the way down onto the subframe. I have this hockey puck in there, and that gave me a lot of clearance up here for the belt, between the belt and the frame rail. But then now that I've lowered it, it's really close, and it gives me more room here to fit this line in there. But then once I jack it back up and put the hockey puck, which is about the height that it's going to sit with the mount coming from gauge, then all this oil filter housing and all that's going to hit, and then all these lines is probably going to like rub on the crank pulley. So I'm moving them to the outside, and then if I have to, I'll just bend this bracket a little bit so that there's enough room between this bracket and the frame rail piece right there for that line to fit. And But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm making really good progress, so I'm going to keep working on this, get this other part of the line back in here, and get everything hooked up, and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, I'm under the car, so I got the shifter cables zip tied together to kind of help hold it up off of the axle. I mean, everything's looking really nice under here. Everything looks really good. Looks like I got a little bit of a power steering leak coming off that high pressure line, so I'll probably have to tighten down that fitting a little bit. No worries. But man, everything else is looking really good. Fitting great. So now I'm just waiting on this engine mount. You can see I got a hockey puck in there. But we're going 3800 Series 2, baby. NIC cam. And then if you come over here, you see I got the AC lines all back reinstalled. And I put them on the outside to give me more room, because as you can see, there's no room on the inside of that for the AC lines to sit there. So yeah, so I moved into the outside. I still got to tighten down the bolt right there, but I have the line bolted onto the AC compressor, and it comes around here to the front where it's going to bolt up to the AC condenser, and then the other part, it meets up there at the top side of the radiator where this plugs in to the other side of the condenser up there at the top. But yeah, I mean, everything's looking really good. I've got both the brake calipers tightened down. I've got both of the struts tightened down. Pretty much the only thing that's left is I've got to get a gasket for the exhaust and hook up the exhaust. And I have copper spray in the shed, so I'm going to copper spray it, hook up the exhaust, and then the exhaust will be done. And then once the new AC condenser comes in, I can remove that old one, get the new one bolted on. I can pull this off, get the new radiator and everything up in there as a whole assembly. And then this is what will hold it up into place. And then I'll just plug the fans in, plug in the AC line. And then the only issue that I was having is, so this line right here, this needs to bend and go all the way up to the top, up there. Ugh. And so whenever it needs to go, it's kinking up the line right here. So I need to bend this metal line out a little bit more so that it will be able to reach all the way up to the top and not kink anywhere. So that's the only bad thing about it. But these AC lines are out of the Pt.2 Ecotech 5-speed parts car, and Gage told me that if I use the 4-cylinder lines, that it would bolt right up to the 3.8 AC compressor, and that is only true for this style with this bracket that has the three nuts on it. Because the Series 3 AC compressor, it has a different line. It has one big side and one small side. This AC line, it has both sides are the same size. They're both the big size. So, but I mean, it does bolt right on. I did have to bend the lines a little bit to make it fit and make it work, but it bolts right on. Everything fits nice. So now my only dilemma is I have to bend it right in here, out about at like a 45-degree angle like that, without bending it here anymore. Because, I mean, like I said, it's not cracked or anything. It looks good all the way around. So I guess once I shoot some Freon in it, once it's all connected, if I hear it hissing, then I'll know for sure if it's cracked or not. But man, I'm excited. The car has come a really long way today. It's damn near pretty much complete, except for, I've got to throw the fuse box back in and hook all this up. Then I've got to bleed the clutch. And after I bleed the clutch, I can get the battery tray back in and get the battery in. And I'm still waiting. Like, Daniel Smutch just tuned the ECM today. And I had Gage message him because Gage had some information he needed to relay about something about doing something like removing like 15 degrees of timing or something all across the board, and he had to change something or else the gauges wouldn't work, or I don't know, something complex. But Gage talked with Daniel, and so everything's supposed to be working fine, and I should have it back in like the next week. So hopefully that will come in here pretty soon, because I'm excited. I'm ready to hear this thing run. But for now, like, once I get it all together and we get the clutch bled, then it'll at least be a good feeling, to know that everything is in working order and the clutch engages, and now I know the shifter works, because it wasn't doing like that before. Whenever I first put it in, it was like bound up. And I don't know if it has something to do with the slave, or like I thought maybe one of the cables was like kinked in there or something, but I didn't change anything. I just hooked it right back up the same way that it was, and I don't know, now this time it works. It's not binding up, so I don't know, I guess we will see. But yeah, I am very happy with the progress. So I'm gonna get all my tools picked up because I'm tired, and I'm gonna call it a night for tonight, and I'll pick up on this tomorrow morning, which will be Tuesday. So you guys have a good night. I'm gonna get all my stuff picked up and go and take a shower and go to bed, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Hey YouTube, so it is the next morning. It's 7 o'clock and I just woke up, and I woke up to Boost Mobile just took $50 off of my account, out of my money from selling the car. And so now this phone is back on and active. It still doesn't have internet, which was the reason why I stopped using Boost Mobile 2 months ago and got a new phone. But so now I have two phones that are active with working phone numbers. Stupid. And then they tell me, oh, there ain't nothing we can do except cancel your account. But they pretty much told me they can't refund me. So they just stole $50 from me. I didn't want this service. But yeah, that's how my morning's going so far. And then I just spent like fucking $1,500 yesterday ordering stuff for this thing. So I've got all that stuff I was talking about before. The AC condenser, the vacuum thing, the door handles for the Trailblazer, the carpet, the little red shark fin. I got an air intake that's a fender well, so it's going to go from the mass airflow sensor, and it's going to come through this hole here, and it comes down and wraps around, and the air filter goes right here next to the coolant jug. I might have to cut this bracket off to make it work, but so that's on the way. And then the last thing that I ordered last night was a brand new pair of seats. And don't get me wrong, I really like these seats that I have in here. Well, this one, but I got them for free. They're old, they're expired, so I mean, they're still usable seats, but if I wanted to go to the drag strip or whatever, I wouldn't be able to with these seats because they're old and expired. So I got a brand new set. They're carbon fiber and red. It's a PVC, so it's like a leather, fake leather. But I mean, they're really nice looking seats, kind of similar style to these that I have in here now. So I'll put a screenshot of stuff in here. so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, not everything has shipped yet. The carpet hasn't shipped, the seats haven't shipped, there's a couple other things that haven't shipped, but most of it's shipped already. So most of the stuff should be coming in within the next week, and then I'm still waiting on the mount from Gage to get here, and then I'm waiting to get the computer back from Daniel Smuts. So yeah, we're going to be making some good progress on this thing here very, very soon. Getting this thing all buttoned up, getting a total transformation on her. So I'm probably going to go inside and take a shower, a morning shower, and eat some breakfast before I really get to work on this thing today. So I'm going to go take a shower, change clothes, get dressed, go get some breakfast, and then I'll give you guys another update before I start doing more stuff on her today. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update here shortly. And my mom's car is just cranking, no start. So I'm just now pulling up. There is the car. So I gotta get some tools. I brought another ICM and some coils. So I'm gonna get this hood popped, try to start it, see what's up, and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. So y'all stay tuned. Dang guys, so look at this. I just popped the hood. Look at this. Whole fucking bracket is just snapped off. It's not even tight. That's ridiculous. It's a good thing I have a steel one of these. It's not aluminum. So I'll probably have to swap this out. Look, even these bolts aren't tight. I never messed with this. The only thing I swapped was the dog bones and the ICM and coils. But I don't remember this being broke before, so that's crazy. That's ridiculously crazy. But alright, I guess I'm going to try to crank this thing over. See what she does. Here we go. Alright, just crank, no start. Alright. I brought an ICM. It's a used one, but we'll see how it goes. So I need a 7mm socket for the plug, and then these are all a 5.5mm. So I'm gonna grab some tools and I'll give you all another update. So that was quick and easy. So here's the old one. So I put this on not very long ago. This looks like it's broke right there. Maybe I over tightened it on that one. But we're all back tight. They're all three tight. Plug's tight. So let's see if it'll start up. Definitely gonna have to change that engine mount. And there it is. I don't know why it does this. I'm gonna run her check engine light and I'll give you all another update. Alright, so we're loading. Scan tool. We'll see what we show in the computer. Knock sensor, low voltage, evap. Knock sensor, low voltage, evap. So we have the knock sensor, which there's two, and then the evap, which is probably the purge valve. Alright. Well, there we go. She's running again. I don't know what the deal is with this car. This is like the 5th ICM I've put on this car in like 2 or 3 months. So I don't know why it keeps going through ICMs, but something's got to be going on. Man, I wish I would have brought the car dolly, because I would have just towed this whole thing back home. This one still seems solid, but this one is definitely broke. Alright, well, I'm probably going to end up be doing like upper and lower intake gaskets and valve cover gaskets and stuff on this here in the near future. It probably needs it. The car's got almost 210,000 miles on it. And all I did was a basic tune-up. I just did plugs and wires and an oil change and coils and ICM 5 times now. And a battery. And I changed some fuses, changed the fuse box. But I haven't done any gaskets on this thing. So it's probably going to get some gaskets in the near future. And when I pull the upper intake off, I can actually unbolt the bolts where that bracket's supposed to go, because they're much easier to get to if you just remove the upper intake. But yeah, well, that didn't take long at all, guys. So I guess now I'm gonna head back over to the house and continue working on the Grand Dam. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update when I make it back to the house. All right, y'all, well, I made it over to the house, and I remembered I needed to go by Danny's to go get those supercharger bolts. So I'm headed over to Danny's right now to go grab those supercharger bolts off that Prix. Look at this fucking dumbass. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab these supercharger bolts, so I'll give y'all an update here in just a few whenever I make it over there. Alright, y'all, just left Danny's. I got the bolts I needed. I didn't need these 3, but they were there, but I needed all these, so I got all the other supercharger bolts I need. And then I also found for my mom's Grand Prix, this is the dash thing that goes around the gauges, and then the centerpiece. Both of these on her car are all busted up, so spent $46 total. Not bad for what I got. So I'm headed back over to the house. I'm gonna get the supercharger bolts installed on the Grand Dam supercharger, and then that'll just be one less thing that needs to get done on the Grand Dam. So all the stuff I've ordered should start coming in tomorrow. I should have like 2 or 3 things get delivered tomorrow, and I pretty much got something coming in every day for like 5 days in a row. So I guess yeah, I'm headed back over to the house right now, so I'll give y'all another update once I make it back home. Alright, you guys, so I just made it back home, and I'm about to pop this hood on the Grand Dam so I can get these supercharger bolts installed. So I'm going to get this hood open, get my tools back out, grab the supercharger bolts, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I've got the hood popped, I've got all the supercharger bolts just set in place back here. So, got the impact. I'm just going to run these in lightly. I'm not going to like ugga-dugga them to hell. But I'm just going to run these down. Let's see, where's my rear ones? Can't see them. Oh, it's right down there. Could be one more. There's only 6. There's 7 total. There it is. Harness was in the way. There we go. Now they're all snugged down in there, except that one. But yeah, so I'll have to grab the torque wrench and torque all these down to the specified torque. I want to say it's like 27 foot-pounds or something like that, 25 foot-pounds. So I'll look it up just to double check. But yeah, I'm gonna grab the torque wrench. I'll look up the torque spec, and we'll get these supercharger bolts torqued down. And yeah, then we can move on to the next thing. Alright, you guys, so I grabbed the torque wrench and I looked it up. Here, let me turn the flash off. So this says start or using a Z pattern. Start in the center, work your way out. Torque setting is 17 foot-pounds for the supercharger bolts. So that is for an 07 Pontiac Grand Prix. This is a Gen 5, so it's the same supercharger and lower intake off of an 07 Grand Prix. So I'm going to get the torque wrench set to 17 foot-pounds. I think it goes that low. And yeah, we'll get these bolts all torqued down and give you guys another update. Alright, y'all, so my torque wrench only goes to 30. So it's numbered. So I twisted it. I put it right at 30 on the 0. Twisted it all the way around to where it was at 0 again. That's 20. And then went down to the 7. So that's 17. So I've already got the first supercharger bolt torqued in. This is the one that wasn't ran in all the way, but there we go. That one's torqued. So I'm pretty much just gonna kind of crisscross. I'm gonna start in the middle, go to the middle, and kind of just work my way around. So I'm gonna get these torqued down, and then I'll give you guys another update. All right, y'all. So I just got all the supercharger bolts torqued down, one pass. So now that all of them are torqued down, I'm just going to go over them all again. Just make sure that because I torqued this one over here didn't loosen or something. So I'm just going to go over all of them again. Make sure everything's torqued down. I torqued these down. And yeah, then we can move on to, I guess, getting the fuse box put together and in its place. And then whenever David comes over, he's going to help me bleed the clutch. And hopefully we can get the clutch bled and actually see this thing go in gear once the computer gets back. So y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna go over all these again and I'll give you guys another update. Oh look guys, so I just pulled the receipt out of my pocket from Danny's, and he charged me for 2 instrument cluster bezels, which was the 2 plastic pieces, and then the switch combo because it has the little screen in it, the DIC display. So he charged me $10.88 for each of these, and then $18 for the actual DIC screen display with the 5 buttons. So he didn't even charge me for the supercharger bolts, but it's pretty sweet. So yeah, so I went ahead and went over both of all the supercharger bolts again. None of them were loose. They're all still torqued at 17 foot-pounds. So supercharger is now fully bolted on. Everything should be good to go. So yeah, now it's now I can move on to the fuse box. I kind of wanted to wait until we started bleeding the clutch in case I had to remove the clutch master, but I guess if I do have an issue like this, you just press in on the bottom of the fuse box down here. See, there's this little notch right there. So if you press this up, that's how you release it. That little notch sits in that square hole right there. So you press that up, pry it up with a screwdriver right there, and that lets the fuse box come out. So if I do need to pull it back out, it's not really that big of a deal. It comes out pretty easily. It's just once all the wires are in there, it's really tight fit back there. So I know we'll see, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to getting this fuse box back reinstalled and getting all these plugs back into the fuse box and get everything hooked up, get it pushed back through, and then once David gets here, we'll work on bleeding the clutch. And yeah, then after we get the clutch bled, as long as everything goes okay, then I should be able just to throw the battery tray in, get the battery in. I probably won't hook it up yet just because I'm still waiting on the ECM to come back in. I don't want to put power to it before I hook up the computer. And then yeah, the AC condenser should be here tomorrow. So once the AC condenser comes in, I can get it swapped out on the new radiator, and then that can go back in. And then whenever my ZZP order comes in, which I think it said 2-day shipping, so it might actually come in tomorrow. And so if that's the case, if it comes in tomorrow, I can go ahead and throw the new red ZZP radiator hoses on and all that stuff, and get the supercharger belt on, the actual correct size one. And yeah, then after that, like, we'll be really close to hearing this thing start again. And then once I get the computer and it starts, then I can actually test and make sure that it goes into gear and is going to move under its own power. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this fuse box in, and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I went ahead and started getting the fuse box put together. I've got the first two plugs for the harness in. They're bolted down, tightened down in there. So now I'm just plugging these in. So we've got light brown, and all of these tell you in here. See, it says light brown, black, light green, light green, oh, light gray. So brown, the second one is black, the third one is green, and the last one is gray. Alright, there we go. And that's plugged in. And so then I've got one more plug, this one here. This one will go in from through this little spot there. And then this plug here will plug into this plug. And that just kind of connects everything. Connects the engine bay harness to the body harness. And just like connects everything, gives everything power. So it's the last one that's got to go in. Get it bolted down, get these plugged in together, and I can close this up, twist it, stick it down in place where it's supposed to go, and hopefully this just goes down in there and it doesn't want to fight me, because normally this is the part where it wants to fight me like no other. But it looks like it's going to sit right in place, so hopefully no issues, but I will let you guys know. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update once I get this all together. Alright, y'all, so I was able to get the fuse box together and get it clicked in place. Looks like it's kind of in the way of the reservoir for the clutch, but I mean, it snakes under the harness right there, so I don't think it's kinking it or anything. I know we'll find out for sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and get these power wires hooked up. So I just pulled the bolt out. It goes right here in the fuse box, and that is where I connect my HID headlight power, my subwoofer amplifier power, and the main power that goes to the battery. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these all hooked up, and I'll give you another update. Alright, you guys, so got the air intake on there. It's not tightened down yet. Still got to plug it in, but that's where that plugs in. Fuse box is in. I can still get to the bleeder valve without the battery tray in. I can get to it with it in too. It's just a lot more of a pain in the ass. Not as much room, just because it sticks out so far. But man, this looks awesome. This looks incredible. Can't wait to get the new radiator hoses and that new AC condenser so I can get the radiator in with the red hoses. This thing's gonna look nice. And then I have a brand new boost bypass valve. It just doesn't have this stud for like to hold the sensor, but with the Grand Am it doesn't even use this sensor. So I don't know, I'm thinking about deleting it, but I kind of have to have it because of the harness itself, the vacuum. So I don't know. I kind of want to use the other one, but it just doesn't have that stud. But other than that, everything's came together really nicely. Once that new exhaust gasket comes in, I can get the downpipe bolted back up to the rear power log. I need to get a 90 for the PCV valve, because this goes into the boot, and then that goes over to the 90. And yeah, and then I just got to bleed the clutch, and then once the clutch is bled, then I can go ahead and get the battery tray in, put the battery in, get everything tightened up and plugged in, and then I'm just going to be waiting on that AC condenser so I can get the radiator and AC condenser in, and the ZZP order should probably be here tomorrow. That's my guess. So I should have the radiator hoses and the belt and shit tomorrow, so I can get all that stuff on, and this thing's going to come together real quickly. And then somehow I need to get the front bumper so I can get it back on, so I can put in the fender liners and just get everything bolted together and kind of go from there. So, because I want to make some braces that go from the subframe out to the bumper just to kind of hold it so it's not flopping around, and I need to do the same for the rear because see, it just kind of, it flops around. And so I just want to put some kind of a bracing from here up here to the body just to kind of hold it solid so it's not flapping around. And yeah, it's come a long way this last week, so I'm about at a stopping point. Like I'm about out of stuff to do for now, except for bleeding the clutch. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this down, get this plugged in, and find my wrench. Maybe try bleeding this clutch a little bit, and see if we can get at least some kind of a pedal. And I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so David was helping me bleed the clutch. It just wasn't working at all. Even trying to gravity bleed it, it's not doing anything. So I decided to pull the fuse box back out. And I unbolted the master, and the push rod, not the push rod, but like the cylinder's pushed all the way down in there. So the push rod pushed it in, but it didn't pull it back out. So now I've got to figure out how the hell I'm going to get that to come back out. Or I'm just going to have to take and just put the old line back on there. Which sucks because I really like the look of this polished, this like stainless, but I know this one's full of fluid. It was kind of working. It was just that slave was fucked. This is a brand new slave, so this should work. It should work. So this one, you can tell it's not pushed all the way in. It's right here at the bottom, so I should be able to just bolt that one right back on. I know it fits, so I'm in the process of undoing the fuse box again. I've got to pull the fuse box tray back out, which is just like 4 or 5 10 mil bolts, and then I'll be able to pull this out. So y'all stay tuned, I'll give you guys another update. Alright guys, so we got the fuse box tray out. Fuse box is disconnected, it's all over there. We got the line out and unbolted, and this thing is still just dry as fuck. Nothing came through. Nothing. We undid the line at the master. It's dry. Bone dry in there. And it's like the push rod pushed it in one time, and the ball didn't click into place all the way, and so it didn't pull it back. So that's definitely the issue. So I'm just gonna reuse this whole setup and just get it bolted back in place. It's already full of fluid, so whenever we go to bleed it, it should just be bleeding the air out of the slave into, you know, through the line. So I'm just gonna get this one bolted back in and just put it back together, or at least get it bolted back in, and then we'll try bleeding it before I even put in anything else. And we'll just get it back together, try to bleed it, see how the pedal feels, and I'll give you guys another update. I can hear it now. It's working. Alright, yeah, so we got the whole thing swapped around. This one's working. I had to swap the bleeder valve. So I'm going to take this, put on here. Just let me know whenever you're ready.
Good. Holding.
Alright. Oh yeah, lots of fluid and bubbles. Alright, we're tight. Ooh.
Holding.
Oh, shit. It flung the whole bleeder tube off. That was some good pressure, though. All right, here, I'm just going to throw the t-shirt back under there. I have some brake clean. I'll brake clean it all off. That was nice.
Because I used my foot. So
Does it feel like it has a...
I haven't let off it yet.
Oh, well, yeah, it's... Hold on. Let me double check. Yeah, it's tight.
No, it's still at the floor.
Easy on it.
That's that spring.
Okay.
It's almost like
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Holding.
That was a lot of fluid. All right, it's tight.
Pumping. Holding.
I've seen a little bit of air come out, but it's mainly fluid. But, all right.
Holding.
Ooh, there was some air in that. Okay, we're tight. About halfway down on the reservoir.
Holding.
Woo! All right, we're tight.
There's no pedal yet.
Damn.
Holding.
All right.
Holding.
Okay.
Ooh, I feel my first little bit of springiness. Holding.
All right. Yeah, we can give it a rest for a minute. I really appreciate it. I know your leg's hurting from that tea.
I'm using my hand.
Oh. Man, that was crazy. That like second one, it had enough pressure. It blew the whole bleeder thing right off of the...
It pissed stuff everywhere.
Oh, yeah. No, but no, that come off and it just went...
Wow.
Yeah, you see it. It went everywhere.
Shit.
But, I mean... Every time you pump it, the line's moving up and down, and I'm hearing it over here. I'm hearing it up there. So that's way better than this other one. I don't even know where the fucking master
I
went.
threw it over there because it was peeing everywhere.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, this is still brand new unused, so that'll just be spare parts, I guess. In case something something ever breaks or starts leaking, I have spares. But yeah, I'm happy with it. So I guess we're gonna take a break for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then I don't know, we might switch off and I'll pump and let him run the bleeder. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, so I've been pumping this thing and David's been bleeding it off, and I mean, it's starting to get a pedal. Like, it comes back on its own. Before, it was just staying stuck to the floor.
On road. You filled that up. Good.
Yeah, I just topped off the reservoir. It was completely empty, just about. Yeah, I mean, it's working. So, it was definitely something with this other brand new master, man. It's just that cylinder in there. That definitely was the issue. It just pressed in and it wasn't letting shit get anywhere. No fluid came through this thing. But it's alright, shit happens sometimes. Damn, it's fucking leaking brake fluid.
I tossed it over there.
Yeah, we just got all over that fucking center console thing. Alright, you guys. Well, David wanted to go home and get something to eat and kick it for a little bit and get off his leg. He's got to ice down his leg. He hurt his leg yesterday, so. But I told him I really appreciated it. It's getting there. It's actually kind of feeling like a clutch pedal, so I'm very excited. So now I just gotta. I'm still gonna have to do some more bleeding. But he suggested to let it sit for like 20-30 minutes and try to let some of the air from the slave come out. So I was like, alright, well, I still need another person to help me bleed it. So I'm just going to have to wait for him to come back to finish it up. But man, like so far it's coming along really good. Like looks really promising. So we'll see how everything turns out. But I guess for now I'm just going to pick everything up, and I guess I'm going to go inside and eat something myself, and I'll give you guys another update here in a little bit whenever David comes back over. YouTube. Alright, so it is Thursday morning. It's about 9:30, and I just got up. I've been checking on everything that's ordered. I've got like 5 things coming in today. So I should be getting the AC condenser so I can get that bolted on the radiator. I can get that up in the car and start getting all that stuff all connected. And then my ZZP order should be here tomorrow. And then I'll have the radiator hoses, so those can go on tomorrow. But yeah, I've got like 5 or 6 things coming in. The new seat should be delivered tomorrow. So I've got to go out to Bartlesville before noon to meet up with the guy I sold the 07 Grand Prix to. I let him drive it back out there with my plate and stuff. So I've got to go get my plate. Yesterday I added this car onto the insurance, and so now the Grand Am has insurance on it. So then once I get this plate back from the guy that bought the 07, I should be able just to go over to the tag office and say, hey, this is my old plate off my other car. I sold it. I need to register it on this car, and then should be good. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. David never did come back over to help me finish bleeding the clutch, so it's still sitting the same place it was. But made a lot of progress on this thing, and I'm really happy that it is starting to get a clutch pedal. So I can't wait to drive this thing. But I guess I'm gonna start getting ready so I can go out and meet dude and get my plate back, and then yeah, I'll give you guys another update once I make it back and packages start showing up, and we'll do some unboxing stuff, and get a bunch of stuff opened up and go from there. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update here in a little bit. Alright y'all, so the guy that bought the 07 just hit me up and said he's up, so I'm headed out to Bartlesville to go get the plate. And then after that, I'll be headed over to Cherokee Nation to go get the tag updated. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright y'all, I'm about 10 minutes away. I just want to give y'all a little update. So I'm almost there. I'll give you guys another update once I make it there. Alright guys, it says we're like 0.2 miles away. So I'm just looking for the Prix. need to go up here, around the bend, and then hang a left.
Turn left onto Oak Park Road, then your destination will be on the left.
Oh, there she is. Oh, man. There she is. In all her glory and beautifulness. Man, I've missed this car. It's only been 3 days I've missed this car so much. Oh, hold on. I gotta open this door. Oh, man. Oh, she looks so beautiful. Did you go to the car wash? Looks so good. Man, I miss this car so much, bro. Well, that wasn't bad. That was only about 45 minutes. So it's not like it's hours and hours away. We can always still kick it. And car can still be on the channel. So, alright, I gotta get some tools so I can swap this plate, get his on there, and I'll give you another update. Alright, you guys. I got my plate. There's the Prix. Wave goodbye to my baby. Goodbye, 07. Alright, so I'm now headed back home. I'll give you another update when I make it back home. Alright, y'all. Made it back to Tulsa. Stopped at the tire shop. Cause I had a low tire. And he sold me 4 new tires. So I'm getting 4 new tires. So I guess I'll give you guys another update once we're done. Alright, you guys. I'm just now leaving the tire shop. We'll go see if this thing rides any better now that we got new tires and they're balanced. So I'm gonna jump on the highway and I'll give y'all another update. Alright, you guys, so just got home. So these are the new tires. They're Continentals. I mean, they're great tread still. Already got some rocks in them, but not bad. $360 mounted and balanced. So the whole reason I even went there on the way back was the truck was just shaking the whole way out there and the whole way back. And here about a month ago when I had those other tires mounted and balanced, I think he balanced 2 and 2 of them were leaking and they put bead seal on it, and I don't think he ever balanced them again. So it's just been shaking and shaking and shaking, and I've just been dealing with it. Like anything around town was fine, but every time I get on the highway it was just shaking like a motherfucker. So I went by there. 2 of the tires were separated. This one had a nail in it. I had already pulled a screw out of it like last week and put a plug in it. And then the one that was on this side kept going low, so I'd put a plug in it. And so he's like, hey man, I've got 4. He's like, they're not brand new, they're used, but he said they're really good matching set of 4. And they are a little bit smaller than what was on here, which is what I wanted. Because with those other tires, like when the speedometer said I was doing 65, I was actually doing about 68 or 69, 70. So it was throwing off the speedometer because the tires were too big. So I was able to get some, these are 245/50 20s. And yeah, these are all really nice tires. So still lots of tread on them. I'm happy with it. So it drove so much better. Absolutely no shake on the highway, running 80 on the way home from the tire shop. So I'm happy with it. So as long as they all stay aired up and we don't have no leaks, we should be good. I got a 10-day warranty. So he said if any of them go flat or whatever in the next 10 days, just air it up, bring it up there, and he'll try to see where it's leaking from. So I'm happy with it. And yeah, so I just got home. And you've seen the truck, so now look what I come home to. So, pretty sure this is the AC condenser. One of these is going to be that vacuum port. One of them is, I don't know, I'll have to open all those. I knew I had like 4 or 5 things getting delivered today. But, yeah, oh, one of those is the outside door handle for this. And then the inside door handle should be delivered tomorrow. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to grab all this stuff, start getting some, I'll bring everything out here into the driveway, and we'll do some unboxing and look at all the stuff that come in for the Grand Am. So, alright guys, so first things first, we got the AC condenser. So there she is, brand new condenser. So now I can, oh well, it's locked, but I've got the radiator with the original condenser sitting in the back seat. So I can pull that out, unbolt that old condenser, get this one all opened up and get it bolted on. And then that will be ready to go back up into the car. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and cut these other packages open and we'll see what else we got. Alright you guys, so this big box is the cold air intake kit. It's originally for the 3.4, but I'm going to be using it for the 3.8. But yeah, this is the whole kit. There's all the clamps, filter. So that's pretty much, so that's everything. That's all the fender well intake pretty much. And then over here, this is the vacuum distribution block. Nice anodized aluminum. So not bad. That was like $27 or 30 bucks. And then this was like $15 or $17. This is the outside door handle for the Trailblazer, because this one's already broke. And then the inside door handle broke too, so the inside handle should be here tomorrow. So I'll probably wait to do that until tomorrow. But yeah, this is awesome. So I think first thing I want to do is I want to get the radiator assembly out of the back seat, get it out here, get the old condenser unbolted, get this new one bolted on, and then it will be ready to just go back up in the car. It'll be ready. And then after I get that all together, I want to start trying to test fit this air intake and see how that's going to work and see how it's going to fit on here. I didn't cut it off, but I just bent it back and forth like 100 times until it broke. And so now that is off and out of the way. This is for the fog light. Probably not even going to end up using that. But yeah, there we go. So that air intake, it will come off, go right through that hole there, and then come down and turn forward, and that filter will sit right here. So that's pretty sweet. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and get the car unlocked and get this radiator assembly out of here, and we'll get this all opened up and get the condenser swapped around, and then we'll move on to the fender well intake. Alright y'all, so I got the impact with the 10. So on the back side of your radiator, you have your two 10mm bolts. And if you still have a stock style radiator, then you're going to have a 7mm bolt right here that screws in. Normally on the stock radiator, this is plastic and there's a hole right there and it just threads in right there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And this just pops up out of the little brackets there that hold it. And that's it. Now I can lift it off. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this off of here, get this one opened up, and then I'll give you all another update. Also, the old one is off. And you can see how fucked up and damaged it is at the bottom. And I've got the new one opened up. It's right here. It's not bolted on yet, but you can just see how much nicer it is. It's just nice having new stuff. So you don't have to doubt it or worry about if it's going to work or not. It's just better to just have brand new. So I'm going to go ahead and get this bolted down. It's already slid down in this bracket, so I just got to put my 2 bolts in. And it's ready to go back in the car. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright you guys, so here's the full assembly. All bolted together. Ready to go back in the car. The only thing I see is, if I compare this to the old one here, You can see how this one is bent out and that one's bent like way up. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that part there, because you see how the line sits. So I'm probably going to have to bend that down a little bit. But hopefully we don't have any issues with that. I might be able to just leave them, like send them a message and be like, hey, what's with this? Because yeah, you can see how that line is right there versus how this needs to be like straight down like this, like a good 2 inches, and kind of turned. So I don't know, I'll take some pictures and send them a message just to make sure that we should be good. If I do have to bend that and it breaks it, I don't want to just be out 80 bucks. So I'll definitely message them and see what's up with that. But yeah, so that's the full radiator AC condenser assembly. So next I want to start working on this, kind of getting this together, kind of test fitting it up where it's going to go. And I'm going to have to get out the intake boot with the mass airflow just so I can kind of test fit it to make sure everything's going to fit properly. But yeah, so I'm going to start working on that. My phone's dying, so I'm going to throw it on the charger, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright, y'all, so I've been working on getting the intake in. So I got the original intake I had out of the trunk. I got the LQ4 MAF bolted on, and this is where it would normally sit. So this is the boot that comes with this air intake kit. And that's the whole kit right there with this boot and a couple more clamps. That's everything. For 50 bucks, it's not bad. So this is the coupler that normally goes on the stock 3.4 mass airflow. And it just goes right inside of this boot, and it just has, like, basically this boot is not going to go and stretch over onto this LQ4 MAF. So pretty much the fender well intake is not going to work for this without being like bigger piping or something. So not a big deal. I can just use this for the silver Grand Am because it doesn't have a filter on it at all, and it's pretty much the same. I deleted the factory air box, so it should just go right down through there, no problem. So yeah, the fender well intake isn't going to work. I know it sucks, but that's just part of the game sometimes. So this will all go back together. This is my 4-inch with the K&N filter. So this is what will go on here. I'll probably end up just buying a brand new K&N filter, so I have a brand new one. But it's pretty much going to be the same design. It's just going to go right here. And for now, that's just going to work unless I can find like a full tubing kit, a 4-inch. Because like I said, this is pretty big tubing here. Like I could fit my whole fist in there. So, but yeah, so that's just not going to work. Unfortunately, it sucks, but that's just part of ordering stuff online sometimes. But I mean, other than that, like the condenser, it bolted right on. It seems to fit really well. I got this vacuum port deal, like this thing. It looks really nice, really sweet piece. And that looks like something I should be able to just like bolt right up here to the firewall, and then just run my vacuum lines to everything off of this. So that's going to be a sweet piece. And then, so yeah, so now I'm just waiting for the rest of the stuff to come in. I'm probably not going to put the radiator in today. I kind of want to, but I kind of want to wait till tomorrow until the ZZP delivery gets here, so that way I can go ahead and change the radiator hoses and everything as I put it in, get them on the radiator and get the clamps tightened down, and then kind of get everything bolted up into place. So that's, yeah, I'm going to wait on getting that installed until tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, other than that, everything's coming together really, really quickly. I'm hoping I can have this thing together, running and driving under its own power, and hoping, fingers crossed, hoping that it goes into gear. And I mean, it's looking real promising with, like, the shifter actually shifts through the gears this time, so it's looking real promising. But I still got to finish getting the clutch bled before I can put everything else back in. I'm still waiting on the computer to come back from Daniel Smuts. I'm still waiting on the lower engine mount to get here from Gage. And then I'm still waiting on the seats and the carpet, which that's not necessarily needed to make the meet. I would like to have all that stuff done. I definitely need to do something about a driver's seat though, because this one isn't bolted in, and once I get the new ones, they're not going to be bolted in or anything. They don't come with their own rails, so I'm going to have to still try to use my factory rails and mount them to the bottom of the seats. But I mean, other than that, that's the only pretty difficult part left of the build. Everything else should be pretty easy, simple stuff. So, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna take a break for right now, because like I said, there's really not anything else I can do. I still have to get vacuum line before I can get this hooked up and actually run everything. I'm waiting for my other order to come in from ZZP for the hoses before I put the rad in. David's not here to help me bleed the clutch, so I'm not even gonna mess with that. So yeah, I'm pretty much at a standstill. I guess I could pull the silver Grand Am in here and I could install this air intake. It wouldn't really take that long. I'd have to jack it up and take the wheel off, but probably wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't take that long. But I don't know, I might save that for another video. Maybe just do that video all on its own, just fender well intake on a Grand Am. So yeah, that's everything for the intake. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna just get this one thrown back together with this K&N filter and get it bolted back down, and I guess I'm just gonna go inside and kick it for a little bit. So I guess that's probably gonna be the end of this video. I don't know how long this video is. I haven't started editing it yet, but I've got a lot of stuff done in this video. The car's come a very long way in the last couple of weeks since I brought it home. So yeah, if you guys liked the video, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos, because we still got a lot coming up with this thing. Get this thing finished, first start, hopefully, fingers crossed, first drive. I've got to do an engine mount on my mom's Prix, this engine mount, because she has aluminum bracket and it broke right here on both sides, so I'm gonna put that steel one on there. So I'm gonna have a video working on that, and then still got more to do on this thing. Still got to do the harness and then the fender well intake. So yeah, like I said, that's gonna be it for this one. So y'all have a good day, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.